What is the best skip tracing for cold calling? What is up, guys? Zach in here, and in today's video, we're going to break down the best skip tracing platforms, the worst skip tracing platforms, and I'm really going to break down for cold calling, SMS text blasting, RVMs, whatever you need for your skip tracing. I'm going to break down the truth of skip tracing when it comes to wholesaling real estate and what you need to know for getting the best data possible. I'm going to reveal if you're going to get scammed from a company, if you're not, some of my favorites, some of my least favorites, and really, I just want you to get knowledgeable and have the truth about skip tracing before you purchase any skip tracing. And I'm also obviously going to show you how to skip trace for free. So before I get into it, before I break down exactly the truth, the last video you ever have to watch on skip tracing, do me a big favor and smash the like button and subscribe, get the most free value from me, and let's get into it. Should you use Batch, PropStream, Lead Sherpa, Fiverr, True People Search, grandmaskiptracing.com? Like, there's a million skip tracing websites. What website or service or company should you use for your skip tracing needs? The truth is, in wholesaling real estate, there's a million companies out there and they're all trying to sell you on my service is the best, this service is the best. Before I get into the best companies, I want to explain what skip tracing is and the truth behind these companies. So skip tracing is basically a detective terms of finding somebody's quote unquote whereabouts. So for us as a real estate wholesaler, if we find a really ugly looking house with tall grass, the roof's caving and it's looking bad, this might be a good wholesaling deal for us. How do I actually contact this person if, let's say, they live out of the state? I need to find their phone numbers, their whereabouts, right? So for you to actually find their whereabouts, we're gonna get their phone number. Again, skip tracing is used in real estate as this term. So we need to find this person's phone number. There's multiple companies and services we can actually go out there and look at it. If you ever look up your name online, sometimes like white pages, you can actually find your phone number online for free, which is kind of weird and concerning. And so if you want to get someone's phone number for free, a lot of times you look them up in the address and sometimes it just pops up. It's kind of weird, but it does. And like truepeoplesearch.com, which I always tell people you've got no money, that's how you find someone's phone number for free. These are about 60 to 65% accurate. So there's about a good chance, over 50% chance you actually find their phone number absolutely for free. Really, if you want really good quality, you're doing thousands and thousands and thousands on a list, you're probably going to go pay for it and get better quality data. And so this is a service that could be 80, 85, even 90% effective. And why is a company who sells skip tracing phone numbers better than a free service? So the big thing that these paid companies have that the free ones don't is credit bureau data. Credit bureau data is going to be the gold mine for skip tracing for wholesaling real estate. And that's really how you know if someone's got the golden stamp of approval, if it's a really good data source or it's not. As someone who pays a lot of money in skip tracing, a lot of money in services, I've paid for them all. And the way the skip tracing services work is a lot of them use two data mining websites. And these companies, which are huge multi-million dollar corporations, basically what they do is they buy phone numbers from credit bureau companies. That's why it's called credit bureau data. So that means if you actually go out here and apply for credit, that credit bureau sometimes sells your phone number. So you put, hey, me and my wife Sally are trying to buy a house. Let's put our phone numbers in, sweetie. You put your first name, last name, the address of the property you're buying, and your personal phone number. Sometimes that credit bureau data sells that information, but sometimes companies like that will actually go out here and buy it from the credit bureau. Which, what does that mean? If somebody put their first and last name, their address, and then their personal phone number, that's probably a really good phone number for them of if that's their phone number or not, right? That's why credit bureau data has a lot better success rate than with like free skip tracing. That's another hint for you guys, like using free credit monitoring services. Sometimes they sell your information, not good. You put your phone number for like a poll or something, maybe like a truepeoplesearch.com can pull it from there. Just understand that those are the people that are actually pulling the phone numbers. And what happens is those companies will give contracts out to, let's say, for an example, PropStream or Batch. Now, I can't say if Batch or PropStream, they're very secretive about where they get their phone numbers from. If they're actually using these companies or not, I can only guess or guesstimate what they're doing. But a lot of companies do this, where they'll actually go under contract with a big data provider for, let's say, 9 cents a record. And then that skip tracing company will sell to you for like 15 cents a record and make 6 cents per skip trace you buy. Now, of course, they have to fulfill it. There's algorithms, there's systems. It's expensive to fulfill these websites. Make it pretty for you guys. And we've actually been under contract with some of these big companies. And the problem, it's like, oh, why don't I just go to the big company and skip trace with them? Here's the problem. For that 9 cents per record, which is actually really cheap right now, you have to get at least a minimum 1 million skip traces per month contract, which means you're going to have to pay them over $100,000 per month just to be in that contract to get the 9 cents per record pricing, which means a company that is really big that gives really cheap skip tracing, they have big overheads on their hand, and obviously they need to charge a premium for it. Now, that doesn't give an excuse for a company to charge 50 cents per skip trace, but just understand that means if you actually want to get really good quality skip tracing, at minimum, 10 cents is like the bare minimum, because a lot of these are getting the cost of 8 to 9 cents for this information. If they're selling it back for you at 10, that's like the cheapest skip tracing should be for it to be considered high quality credit bureau. How do I know this? I've been under contract with these companies. I understand it. I used to have a contract where I did 50,000 skip traces a month. It's stressful. I'm not in it anymore. But that's how these companies operate. So if you actually go here and see a service that charges 2 cents per skip trace, probably not likely it's credit bureau data. And credit bureau data is kind of like fugazi term. It could be this, it could be that. Like there's no concrete definition. That's my technical definition for it. So a company might charge you 2 cents and say it's credit bureau data, but is it really? You're really not going to know unless you look at the back end of it. So from my experience, let's break down some skip tracing companies, and I'll let you know what I recommend and what service I've used and what I've seen. Number one, my favorite skip tracing service, everyone knows, it's Batch Leads. And Batch Leads uses a wide array of skip tracing companies on the back end. I can't give the exact information or details from it, and me personally spending a lot of money with them with skip tracing and me actually doing deals with them. They have a pretty good success rate, really high one. It's pretty good for SMS and cold calling. It's definitely one I recommend. So Batch Leads cost, depending on the subscription you pay, 10 cents to 14 cents per record. And that's pretty good. So if you actually want to start skip tracing, again, if you use code ZACH at Batch Leads, you get 50% off your first month there. It's pretty cool. Or use ZachData.com. Now, I'm not married to Batch when it comes to skip tracing. I've used every single platform. So let me share some of the other ones I've used. Another one everyone always tells me is PropStream, aka ListREI.com. PropStream's actually got really good skip tracing. They're kind of the hardest to figure out what kind of skip tracing they're using. PropStream with their subscription basically charges around 12 cents per record, which is pretty good price, but it's actually pretty good quality. I found Batch has a little better quality than PropStream, so I do recommend Batch a little better, but PropStream's pretty much second. And obviously next year or in the year after, maybe the skip tracing's changing. I'll let you guys know. But as of today, I think Batch is still the best. Next here are SMS text blasting companies. SMS text blasting companies actually have really good skip tracing, and they go to those big guys and get their information too. So what kind of companies are these? I've skip traced with like Lead Sherpa before. They actually let you do skip tracing with them. A lot of the times you actually don't even have to be using their service, and it's pretty good. I got nothing bad to say about it. And it's actually pretty cheap. They're roughly around 14, 15, 16 cents. I know Launch Control has their own skip tracing. There's a lot of interesting skip tracing services from SMS text blasting companies that are really highly reputable. I will fully disclose I've gotten deals with Lead Sherpa skip tracing, from Launch Control skip tracing and SMS, from Batches, and from PropStreams, and from TruePeopleSearch.coms. The other ones I really haven't. So the next one here is the Fiverr, or those like Facebook skip tracers you see all the time from like Pakistan or India or the Philippines, offering like 1 cent per skip tracing, and it's credit bureau data. A lot of these are scams, and they're really not good. What I've personally seen from these is, oh, I got Houston skip tracing for 2 cents each. A lot of these VAs actually get lists from, they're working for like a Houston wholesaler, and then they quit, and then they have like a list of like 200,000 skip trace, and they will literally use that whole, like the big wholesalers' information and just sell it out to people. I've seen that happen before, and VAs do that. So sometimes it's good. I just don't think it's ethical. I don't like to support that industry, and I don't think it's good. A lot of VAs will just go to TruePeopleSearch.com and try to use it for free and then sell you at 1 to 2 cents for that. Just be wary. A lot of Fiverr stuff is not good. You get what you pay for sometimes with skip tracing, and it's not worth it. Next here is TruePeopleSearch.com. It's the go to free skip tracing. It's literally, you put in the reverse address, you put in the name, it pops up. Really good. Again, the percentages are a lot lower. The percentages are about 20 to 25% lower than the paid. So when you're running a bigger operation, obviously it makes sense to pay for skip tracing, but for using something for free or one off, it's pretty good. There's probably thousands of other wholesaling skip tracing companies. You know, another YouTuber creates their own skip tracing company in like 5 seconds. What they do is they go to those companies and they do the same thing. They'll charge like 18, 19, 20, 25 cents for one off, or for multiple ones, they'll charge like 22 cents. I can't confirm what their backends look like, but I can only assume they're using credit bureau data, hopefully. I don't recommend to use them, but just take it with a grain of salt using somebody else's platform. And at the end of the day, that's what you should be using for skip tracing. I recommend Batch and PropStream. The SMS text blasting services are really good too. Anything else, I'd just be wary of. And that's from my personal experience for wholesaling real estate, especially with the cold calling. You want to get good cold calling numbers. The reason why your skip tracing should be really important for your cold calling is if you are cold calling leads and it's good quality, you can cold call that list for like 1, 2, or 3 years to come, especially if it's like a high equity list. The Problem is, if it's bad data, you're just gonna have to re-skip trace that, or you might not get the results. Good skip tracing, that added 10-cent cost could get you a bonus $30, $40, $50,000 deal, which pays for it tenfold. Guys, at the end of the day, your skip tracing, it really depends on the research you're taking, and really, sometimes it's the other person on the end of the phone, if that skip tracing is good or bad. A lot of people like to blame skip tracing on a bad list when it's really you not doing the amount of work you need to cold call on that list. So actually go out here, take action, and you'll get good results. Bonus tip for my people out here that are doing a lot of wholesaling deals. If you skip trace, for example, a list of 50,000 high equity leads in your market, and then you wait an entire year and you try to repull that list, do not skip trace a brand new 50,000 new people on that list. What I want you to do is pull that list from like listrei.com or zacdata.com, and then add that to the master list of that other 50,000, remove the duplicates, and at most for like high equity, you're going to get like 15,000 extras that weren't duplicates, which means you're only skip tracing 15,000, which saves you a boatload of money, thousands of dollars just from removing duplicates, because high equity leads usually stay the same more or less, and that'll save you a bunch of money. If you get any value from the information I give here on the channel, please do me a big favor and smash that like button and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments, what skip tracing service are you using? Are you having success with? Let me know. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a blessed one.